Alrighty, so I have had an idea percolating, it's been on my mind, and I'd like to document it. So we're going to go ahead and make this video. I've got two different aspects of it that I want to touch on. We'll see how we do switching between. I thought I would try Thor as a system of pirate software, of using a chalkboard style paint, but that's not where I'm going to start. Okay, so this idea is diagramming or visually representing discussions. And the first version of this was that when people are discussing, you would have two people have two sides of the conversation, so you got person one and you got person two, and that as people make points, their main points would be shown like so. Oh, that's fun. I meant to do that. And that as you are having your conversation, you would have, if you've got sub-points to share either on your own content or the other person's, there'd be something that showed who made these points, but this would be either pro or con. Shoot, where's my left panel? You? Where's my edit? Edit. There's supposed to be a panel over here of buttons and things to edit things. Is it you? Yes, it's you. Okay, I don't toggle that very often. Okay, so moving right along. Alright, so we've probably got most of the tools we need, so if I can make this thing go away. Ugly middle work. Alright, let's get situated here. So these are supposed to be the main points. And if you got sub-points that are either to support or to oppose, and you could have your own points, and you could mention, by the way, that you've got certain things that are negatives on your own discussion, as well as having positives. I don't use this program much, I'm not super smooth with it, but you have multiple things that have something that denotes who was actually making these points, because it's not always going to be a person just arguing for their own things, hopefully, and that you would alright, that was weird. So I chatted with ChatGPT or something at one point and asked it to come up with a grading rubric for discussions and debates between people. And it would be individual number of points, like how much did you actually justify what you said, how much did you listen to the other person, how much were your responses actually related to what they said versus just coming up with your own thing. I forget what it is, it's around there somewhere. And this is only points that can be gained together. Like, how much did you as a group actually come up with interesting or new points of view? How did you do listening to each other? How did you do acknowledging each other's... Anyway, it's been a bit, but how well did you do being a person in a discussion? How did you do in discussion? How did you two do as a team? And so that would be one style of... Anyway, that'd be grading how things went. Here, you would also have... Do purple. So these would be your sources. So, like, I have a Bible background, so the Bible is something that, depending on who you're talking about, this is just one of your sources, or depending on who you're talking with, this is a shared source. You both ascribe to and trust and believe this, or one person believes it as a historical source of value, another one as a spiritual authority, but both respecting as a historical, or some cases, in the case of a Christian evolutionist, does not believe that things like the flood actually happened, but still adhere to the Bible as a moral authority. I mean, you could have a little thing that, details that or something. Like, you could come up with stuff for explaining the difference there. Or actually, probably just, you would have this, and Control Enter is not what I wanted there. And so you would be like, you could probably do this. Both of them agree with moral, and this one agree, citing it as historical. Though even people that don't believe that the flood happened would still probably believe the biblical figures were true and stuff. So depending on what the topic is that you're mainly talking about. Anyway, work in progress. So all of this is stuff that I had before, and so now, okay, 6 minutes, 20 seconds in. These ideas I had already, and had for quite a while, and have wanted to have maybe a discussion group where in person, maybe you even aren't allowed to talk. You can only write down sticky notes and come up and stick it on the board in this configuration. And so then you would have a debate, a silent debate on a board, and you're sharing and bringing up points as a group. You could have any number of people in a room, potentially on two different sides, and coming up and having these kinds of discussions. And so you don't have just whoever has the floor running away with whatever, or having a quick back and forth. You slow down the conversation. And yeah, you know what, maybe I should try putting the cords won't let me. But I have my OBS over here, but I'd like to look like I'm actually looking at people. And that is how some people do it. They have they look over at you, and then they have what they're working on. But I see my face over here, so I want to look over there. Anyway, I'm clearly an established professional at this. But no, we're working on figuring out my style as I go. Okay, so that's what I think this is. This I thought would be really interesting, actually. So this is going to be a combo of different ideas. Looks like this video. This is, I can actually experiment with doing this. Go find that rubric or make a new one, and go find Jordan Peterson I like. But sometimes he will, I'm not sure how much recently, but definitely back when, I noticed that he will interrupt people and put stuff in, even when they're a guest that he's invited and wants to hear them talk. He'll jump in, and sometimes dude, let the people talk. So he would lose points on interrupting or letting your other person you're discussing with get a word in and get to actually keep and have the floor and complete a thought. Whereas listening to them, or establishing, anyway, other things to be stronger on. Whereas if two people are arguing against each other, you can still have a high score if you respect each other and stuff. And even the high score here if you've honored and respected each other in the discussion. Already talked about that, but it'd be interesting to kind of when people will cast video games, you have newscasters who will break down whether sports or whatever, whether soccer and football or esports. You have someone who really knows the subject, or even doesn't, just listen to people going on. They'll comment on how they did at different things. And I thought it'd be interesting to be building this as you go. At some point, I think teaching an AI to take a transcript and build this, especially if you could make it pop up as they go, would be really interesting. And then having grades like this at the end, or commenting that's going to be a mark off of this or a mark off of that. If they do much better, well, maybe they don't get 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5, they get 4 out of 5 because they were usually good, but they just had a run of interruptions. That's just the biggest one coming to mind. Or they had lots and lots of opinions, but they didn't cite anything. That you could make YouTube content of looking at political discussions and just straight up grading, where it's no one actually answered each other. They didn't care what each other had to say. They only had their points, and whenever someone brought a valid correction to some, or a valid objection to something, you didn't respond to it. You didn't answer. You just went, well, over here to this other subject that I like better. And I think it'd be really healthy to see this kind of and for people to learn from seeing things like this, or even their own conversations, or like someone like Jordan Peterson going back and grading himself on how he did, or like the end of an interview, like come back and be like, it looked like this. So that's my judgment on it. Like, obviously any of you can comment. So anybody's like, hey, tell me in the comments, how did you grade it? You could get so much more involvement by people actually having a rubric that you're asking them to go apply and be like, hey, how did I do? Or hey, do you think that I was fair with this, or would you give it a different grade? You want more interaction in the comments? You give them something to judge you on, or to debate you with, which, yeah. So, taking this up a notch, or I'm gonna get away my personal info if I go to Twitter. We'll do it on a different screen and see. But I think that I don't mind sharing my Twitter, so I'm not sure what I'd be concerned of, but I'm trying to learn to show or not show my info. Yeah, there's no loss in sharing this. Okay, so when you've got Twitter and you've got, let's say that you've made a post, I want to jump into something super controversial, though politics is most of what I've been here. Okay, solar power. Like, is this being fully fleshed out, or is this just, surface level arguments? What's people's point of view on things, and what kind of discussions are we having down here? I'd love to see this either within Twitter, X, Facebook, what have you, the option to toggle on like people like Elon Musk that I believe actually would like to engage with a large number of people's comments and such. You've got 12,000 replies. How the heck are you possibly going to, and this is a low amount compared to some things, how are you going to actually engage with this? Okay, solar panels everywhere, lovely. So I'd love to see a aggregation powered by AI that says like X number of people like recommended or had this point of view, at this point of view, and then you have another spot that is the unique ideas that were fielded by people and like how many did, if even more than one. And so you can see, like, you could ask a question, or you could have an implied question, and then people, when they respond to it, you can see both the just yeah, or the yeah with some hesitancy, or no with some hesitancy, and that could be reflected. An AI could sort that. An AI could get good at that. You could give it some sample data and like some judgment calls and stuff. You could train that. Like, that's completely doable. And have it also pick out the like interesting comments and just filter out the ones that like didn't have much substance, or just lop them in with a number of ones that were just like generally negative, or negative and just like got nasty about it. And you can just see that many people were negative and got nasty about it without a specific challenge, or people that got negative, nasty, and had something of substance to say, and you're like, what do they have to say? And you click and you like see a summary and be like, okay, give me some specific examples. So it actually starts pulling up raw replies that were done. You're like, okay. So that's that idea. Now, kind of a combination of both of these is what we're going to have. Paint for. Okay, so I'm going to try the black and white. Nah, we'll save that for another time. Sorry, the light. But yeah. Okay. Do this full. How big can the be shown on stream? That big. So I haven't done that before. That's cool. Okay, so I am imagining in this additional, we're on what, like 4, 5, 6 ideas deep. Who even knows where we're at this point? But different idea. So for streamers who are like Asmongold TV on YouTube, that has, it'll do the video games, and then he's covering political stuff now, and he makes an effort to actually have both camps able to be present and talking. And that's one, daring. Two, has probably gotten a lot of people interested. I only watch his content because of that. He also has a level-headed, like he looks at the news and like tries to have an opinion one way or another. And as people have discussion, you've just got, apparently, like him and like Thor and stuff have gotten good at just like, you have the text just running by. Other way? Whichever. Wow, now I'm having trouble remembering. Whichever way the text is running, and you're just like catching it while you're playing something, while you're watching videos, while you're talking, while you're trying to make your own point of view. And Asmongold has said, if I missed your content, just, I'm sorry, too bad. Don't like say it over and over again. Because in that format, like, and some people say go ahead and do it multiple times, and some people like him, rightly, are like, no, stop it. Try. There's too many people for all of us to be spamming chat just because we missed what we wanted to say, even if it was worth seeing. So, something that is definitely more high-tech than the other things that I've been talking about, at least for sure. So, there's like the Twitter idea, like having lots of different data points and pulling it together in something that's shown. What if you could plug an AI into this, probably, but have a engine that's like the way that video game things will do, like if you have a plant and then it goes to be, look at me, Thor, I'm making a picture, but then let's see, this has it's supposed to be a leaf, and as it grows and it's got, you know, branches and those have leaves, and eventually like you have fruit. This is colored. See, this is not colored, that's colored. Clearly that's a pretty fruit. And as it grows, you would have other branches and other content. I'm not sure how you could do this, but I feel like there's potential for, as conversations are running, you have the concepts that get highly fed and that have a lot of buy-in. Those core concepts ends up being like a trunk of a tree. You can even have other things sprout up if they're like thoroughly unrelated, like that give the program the freedom to be like, hey, this is a totally different issue that's coming up in chat. Do this for forums as well, and that would give you more time to actually let the AI on the side like build stuff, review, maybe have some curation. But in any case, in its most awesome form, I think that you would have a forest of trees growing throughout your stream, and just that you would have, and some of this that people just absolutely get on. Look at my fantastic tree. Get big. Like you have some serious things, and you have what are the roots of these things? What are they? What are your sources? What are your core fundamental ideals and values? And how you'd actually read. So it's going to get bigger based on those different things. It's going to get bigger based on how many people are doing it, and if it's kind of a core concept, or even if people are talking up here, but the AI is like, this is rooted in these beliefs. I mean, maybe have a color code where like the AI has a color. It's like it's coming to a conclusion these things are coming from these different shared values, it looks like, are shared amongst people by the way that they're talking. And or some people directly citing different sources. You would have like, okay, this root here. Hey, I'm doing a video. I'm probably oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's my drink. But might I work on this for another 5 minutes or something?
Okay.
See if I can probably get the concepts in that long. So if you have your own source or something that you're bringing up, it would be like a tendril, and then if people start responding to this and reacting, then you would have, like if you zoomed in on this, you would see different people's names and their comments that were on this subject in strands running here. And if you zoom out, I mean, you can get like fantasy with it and like have like little sparkles running up through here and whatever as new points of view are being shared out here, or strengthening already existing ones, or new leaves, new little sprigs from new conversations and such. Or and you could have it set up that solutions are fruit. So if you actually have something, and like, or if you have really nasty conversations happening, you can have like rot show, and you can have like rotten fruit showing up. And so also your moderators could literally, like in Minecraft creative mode, fly around and inspect how different branches of the conversation or the forums or whatever are going, and where you see rotten fruit, this the AI is saying like, things are getting nasty over here. They can fly in it and look and see if there's a key person who's like spreading stuff, and make a judgment call and be like, no, this still has value. Like they're actually having, there's real, actual valid points, and there's different value systems. Maybe you can even tell the AI, this is two different value systems clashing, and so you have, you instruct it to have a separate tree with grown that are competing for the same space. Maybe you even have two twig branches coming over here, and then this is possibly highlighted where, I don't know, you could see, is this just unhealthy clashing, or can you put in any comments that are like, hey guys, you guys are coming from two different value systems, especially based on the history of your all's comments. Just have a moderator come and be like, hey guys, you're clashing based on this and this. Can you guys look for an actual solution? Because right now you're just like having a religious level clashing between the values of two different value systems, like the traditionalism from Japanese old culture and modern progressivism. And if you two are just going to keep on saying what's better, you're going to keep clashing more. Can you guys look at how we can value and work together, or live separately, or whatever? Or else we're going to cut your fruit off and we're going to like cut this thread or something. Or like move its, you guys are going to be going either into intense discussions that are possibly going to have solution, or people arguing and bickering, in which case you're going in the back lot back here. We're going to separate this fruit. We're just going to plant its toxicness back over here, and you guys can be literally in the timeout corner that people only go over to if they want to have nasty arguments and stuff. And so, like, we're going to either flag you as you're having a healthy or unhealthy conversation based on your next 3 posts. So choose now. I don't know. I think that this general concept and how much micromanagement, or how much just letting the thing grow, could be really interesting. And like, if you have this branch that's coming to, like, people are like trying to solve world peace or world hunger or different things, just saying like, hey, we have a lot of food that's actually going to waste. Hey, we need financial incentives or stuff, or we have, you know, generosity can be enough to solve different things. Okay, but generous people need to make a living and have enough extra money to be able to be generous with. Okay, so maybe we can work on people consistently being able to make new businesses that want to, but need a support structure in order to figure out how to do it. That's where I am right now. Maybe this could grow into a whole new thing. And as you zoom in, you can see like the details of these conversations going through. But as you zoom out, an AI could help you kind of see how much of your, let's see, if I go over here, am I going to be able to, oh, only if I zoom in and then come over here can I use extra space. Alright, well, good to know. We're going to do this, and do this, we're going to do that. Oh look, we have extra white space now. 23 minutes. Probably worthy considering we're covering a lot of things. So, we'll put this in for the metaverse here. What if you had goggles that, or whatever smart glasses we're going to end up having, where it's like you're walking by and like someone, see if their business is going to have different decorations, or like you walk into some, you have a VR experience like playing at someone's house, and you can like play racquetball with a ball that's not actually there because of whatever. If VR becomes common enough that if you're walking down the street and somebody's house, we're going to do a very high-tech looking house right now, has like, you know, you've got a bush, you've got your front door, probably shouldn't cover that with bushes, you've got a path, and then you've got this like spot for a tree, but it's got like, you know, nice rocks, nice mulch here, and probably 2 of them, and someone's like, okay, nice little fairy circle with nothing in it. But if you've got your goggles on or whatever, this is actually, you've put a setting where outside your real home, if somebody's looking through metaverse goggles, you have one of these trees, like your current stuff going on in one of your forums that you subscribe to. Like maybe your favorite forum, your like Asmongold's most latest stream is like showing here, and Thor's is here, and you just have like the most healthy or most interesting, the one that has the highest rating as far as like trying to solve like the most crazy things in the world, or just the most hilarious, or something about ferrets. Like whatever people are talking about ferrets right now, there's a tree of that, and we're just like having like, oh, beans got better, or so and so ferret like had a funny thing, or here's a fruit, it's a fun little video or something. There could be much more approachable forms of this that are just fun. And you could have this one's like looking decaying and dying, and you're like, someone come look up close, whatever, even like zoom in, they're like, oh, they're having like, oh, that did turn nasty. Well, you're like, well, that's my community. Right now they're having a hard time, and I'll work on it and try and do it better. So if anybody like knows you and they see this, and this could be in some lobby or something, a guild. We could have guilds online that aren't video game based, but are like Discord channels, but they've got a 3D area that you're around, and you decorate some of your areas with like key discussion areas. Decorating the guild hall. Like Pirate Software could have however many tens of thousands of people that go in, like, you know, there's different areas for hanging out and doing different stuff, and they're decorated with discussion trees. I think that'd be sick and super healthy for a community to be able to see make these trees together. And maybe tree isn't the right thing, like maybe it's vine, or like I was thinking education area, like if a professor wanted to have this for their students, and so this is plugged into, like, maybe omit the names or something, but you, especially privately, Mr. Professor, could go and can click on one of your students, and like, oh, you could have a tree which is like the entire, like, the general scope of the entire discipline that you are teaching, like in psychology or whatever. And in the discussion stuff online, where if you could actually get people to engage, it's, alright, let me try to wrap up. You could click on them and you could see what areas have they interacted in, and so they could be like a vine, and you see where they have had presence and what fruit they have contributed to, maybe good and bad fruit, maybe past fruit that's now no longer active and has fallen and rotten on the ground, maybe something that's grown up a new concept or something, or you highlight anything that's really an idea that's not really reflected elsewhere, and you could look at it and be like, that's interesting, they should write a research paper on that or something. And so for people like Jordan Peterson and his academy, that he could take like the whatever forum or Discord group, or if he could pull stuff into some kind of discussion group, and he could see actually the discussions and interactions, or just pull from Twitter, like it's like have part of the course, you like, go ahead and give us your Twitter handle if you're okay with it, and we will see like how you're interacting with the world, and you be able to come in here, like my own thing, I could highlight mine and be like, what's this massive branch over here, 2 massive branches that I've not touched on in this discipline whatsoever, like in manufacturing improvement, lean manufacturing, and come be like, okay, statistical data I haven't used. Yeah, I haven't, don't feel like it. Oh, this kind of area. I want to learn and apply that. Girls, you okay?
My shirt.
Alright, there we go. Learning how to mute myself in this. I hope I did that successfully. Oh. Okay, well, I found where you do an OBS studio. I could just mute that channel. That makes sense. Let's see. Testing. Yep. Alright, that would have done it. That would have been easier than what I did. So yeah. And I think a combination of these ideas could be pretty cool. Oh, right. There's that, and if I shrink that, we've got this. I think really, really cool stuff could be done with these things. And the tree one, I think, is technologically something I've never touched on something like that before. So I don't know what the road looks like to make any of this happen, but I'm quite sure it's possible. What would it be like if you could look at your Discord channel community, Thor, of pirate software that has like 100,000 people, and using different techniques like this to be able to visualize what's going on, or a stream's conversation and stuff, like, and maybe stream is often a lot simpler. I think that a lot of what people probably say in stream isn't too deep. Sometimes people get into other conversations. I know that happens sometimes, but if they knew that if they did have deep discussion type stuff, oh, that is something else. I had another thought of when you're having streams, instead of just having a run of text running, oh, my hand wasn't in frame. Instead of having just a run of text, you could also have a link where you, like, if you guys want to have, I forget what I want to call it, sub-conversations, that you could basically kind of have a forum post. I think I was calling it branching conversations. You got this subject, and then that could go either to this subject or this subject, and you see how many people have actually gone over and are engaging in those areas. And if you, like, instead of just the text, like, have a spot over on the side where you actually see the don't have rectangle style right now with my camera. Could though. Oh no. Need to go change the crop. But you could have multiple conversations that you see the current content going in, and some people stay on this main topic, and then some people have another idea that maybe one or just two people, like, say this, somebody just goes off and has their own comment, and then just actually no one engages in it. So you have lots of potential avenues that might actually have other things also pop up from them. And then that turned into, wait, this is a tree. And if we want to have streams, me, somebody else, have streams that actually encourage and use this kind of ongoing and involving conversation, people splitting off, kind of making their own chat room and doing stuff, but then that would be representative as, you know, main trunk, and somebody, like, actually starts a real separate idea would be a separate one, but you have a main trunk, you have big branch here, big branch there, kind of more central branch, or is, like, all three of them then? Like, none of them are the central main point anymore, that's kind of just a sprig still, and you've got these main other things that are branching out. And so this first one actually ends, this one has a little tiny twig that didn't really do much, and it has this branch that actually has three smaller branches coming down from it. And then this one here kind of ends in a knot, and then, like, has a big branch that comes over here that actually has, like, one main chunk of fruit that they're chewing on. And you could, you know, someone with more game design experience or that is willing to try, like me, whatever, could beautify things. Just make it, like, some stuff that you know is just visual appeal to make things look kind of pretty. But especially if it could actually be caused by individual comments that are made. Actually being like pine needles. We have a cactus. Be like, it's a challenging subject, so, like, what's the tree mode? Cactus. Or this is, like, you know, a ferret stream, like, this is making a cherry tree. And it's just like, it's a nice cherry place. Someone's telling, like, their personal stories of, like, where they had a ferret, and, like, this one's kind of low over here in the shadow because people talking about their past animals that have passed away that they liked, and so it's kind of in the shade that is sad, but it's also, you know, casting shade, and it's got, like, you know, nice little fruits that are actually still bittersweet and stuff. And while you have, like, the stream, like, comments about the current ferrets having fun and stuff, and you just have, see how this can go so many different places. Like, VTuber type talent could go into this kind of stuff. Like, people that make yeah. I think there's a lot of potential. I think it'd be pretty cool. So, as far as, like, credit for the ideas or stuff like that, well, I mean, I've made this video so that I still get credit for making it. Please go for trying this stuff. Especially with permissions. Like, I don't know how to do what kind of licensing and stuff, and processes. I'm pretty sure are not copyrightable anyway. Oh, I'm switching between things without... Oh right, I could put it on this screen. Whatever, I could focus on screen instead of the windows. And if I shrink, you could see the background, which is all nice and cluttered right now. Oh, my desktop. I think this would be cool. Any one of these, like I need to start choosing some of these things and going with them and trying them. Alright, well that's probably good for now, and my wife is waiting for me. You have wallpapers of different things. I wonder if I should make a zoom out and like make a wallpaper of this and the other one. That'd probably be good. Make some decent windows. Same in kindergarten, you can do basic. You get some windows, you get some windows. Get the doorknob. Always gotta get the doorknob. But yeah. Metaverse trees. Man, I could get Bezos on Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg. I could get Zuckerberg on this and be like, hey, dude, you could have like this stuff and you could take Facebook things and like whatever, and so like when people come they can see what would you actually want. Oh, you can have permissions. They can be permissions locked. Only your friends can actually see these plants at your home, and so maybe they're like digital picture frames like on the outside of your house or the inside and stuff, and they're in there. They can be like, you have, man, it's so small if I want to make gestures. It's like, you've got, what is it? You've got that display on your wall. It's like, yeah, what is that? Oh, that's from such and such, or my kids' projects and stuff, or that's a digital tree grown from the most recent stream of Thor's or whatever. Alright, I'll end it there. Yeah, well, feel free to comment if you want to comment on this. Yeah, the world can have cool stuff in it. And thank you, Thor, in particular, for encouraging people to dream. Has it been said? You're like the Bob Ross of computer programmers. And not just video games, some of these other stuff.